Hello, I'm Lillian from the Bible Church Local Outreach Ministry. Thank you for tuning in to our Personal Outreach podcast that is scheduled 4 times this year. Now, we hope that this podcast will create a greater awareness and passion for personal outreach and evangelism through our CPR outreach strategy. So the topic today is C.N.Y, or Chinese New Year. Now, this is a festive season that is either hated or loved because of challenging family and relative relations. Now, when we think of C.N.Y, visitations to our relatives are inevitable. Some of them we barely see more than once a year. 2 Corinthians 2:15 reminds us that we are the fragrance of God wherever we go. It always dawns on me that C.N.Y is such a perfect platform to do relational and personal outreach, to bring God's fragrance every place we step foot on. Can you think of a relative that you could perhaps reach out through CPR during the upcoming C.N.Y visitations? Now, what is CPR? C stands for cultivate relationships, P as in plant seeds of kind acts, and R for reaping in the harvest. Now, perhaps as I'm speaking, a face or name came to mind. Hold on to that and start to cultivate this relationship by saying a prayer to God for them. Something as simple as, God, please touch their hearts. Please open their eyes to your truth. Next, when you visit, consider planting a seed by giving them a blessing card just like this with an ang pao, or just a blessing card, and use this as a conversation starter. Now, you can get these blessing cards just outside this sanctuary. Share with them the Chinese characters on one side of the card and the corresponding scripture and the QR code on the other side that will link you to a beautiful Chinese Christian song. Now, we also have a brand new online C.N.Y outreach kit prepared just in time for you to give you some ideas on how to do CPR during C.N.Y. Now, check out the e-bulletin after this and click to download the kit. And how about cultivating relationships closer to home by inviting a neighbor or someone who might be home alone for C.N.Y? And on this topic, I have with me 2 special guests to come on the podcast. This is Cheng and Elaine, and they are actually my neighbors staying at the same block, and they are a lovely Christian couple from another church. We got to know each other sometime last year, I think, and I have been so encouraged by their passion for God. They did a very unique outreach on their own personal initiative during Christmas 2 Christmas ago. So, hi Cheng and Elaine, welcome to the Bible Church Singapore Outreach podcast. So great to have you both on our program.
Hello.
Hello.
Now, I recall you shared with me that you folks actually invited neighbors over to your place 2 Christmases ago. Could you just maybe walk us through actually how that happened and what do you do and your takeaway from that?
Okay. So yeah, 2 Christmas ago, I think that was also the year that we just moved in. So we kind of wanted to get to know our neighbors, and we didn't want to miss out on using Christmas as a chance to get to know them. If not, like, when else will you like randomly open your house? So we thought about using it to get to know our neighbors, but we were a bit afraid to like open it up to the whole block. So we decided to start with just our same floor neighbors. But we were contemplating for quite a while. So only the day before Christmas, we printed out these flyers. I brought one here.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then we went door to door, like on our same floor neighbors' doors, to just knock and like invite them to our house. So we just kept it like casual. It was just like coffee and cakes.
And some thought we were scammers.
Yeah. No, I don't think they thought we were scammers. But yeah, so it was nice because I think even when we knocked, some of them didn't come, but at least through the knocking, we actually got to have a first conversation with some of them. And on the actual day itself, so a grand total of 1.5 families showed up. So 1.5 because one family, they just came and they dropped food. And then they left. But they also like, I mean, we just chit-chat a bit, then they left. The other family came, and it ended up that we ended up talking to them for 3 hours. Yeah. So that was super unexpected. Yeah. Maybe Ching can share more.
Yeah, so Elaine shared that 1.5 families came, right? The 3-hour one, it really spiraled and grew into something more. So right now, like on our floor, right, they are the furthest neighbors from our block, but they are our closest neighbors. And it's very interesting because they are young parents, so they have one kid in primary school, and one kid who's like a toddler in kindergarten. But we're quite close because like the past year, we've been able to give them like tuition for a short while, or like we'll ask like, how are you in school, and then we'll kind of talk to the parents about. We kind of sometimes act like a bridge between the parent and the child, or we'll just like talk about, because I'm a teacher, so talk about things that I know or talk about things that they know, and we just like connect on that law. And honestly, that family is really very, very open as well. Yeah, so I think it's interesting because I mean, there's this verse from Zechariah that says like, do not despise small beginnings. And honestly, knowing that family was quite a small beginning. It was just one out of, I think, like 6-7 families. So at first we could have been a bit discouraged, but I think we prayed that morning to just say like, God, whoever you want us to meet this morning, you let us meet. So there was a part of me that was anticipating there'll be no one, and then we can just go out to like do our own stuff. But yeah, the family came and we talked for 3 hours. So I think it's a very good like relationship going on with like the neighbors. As of this juncture, we haven't like properly shared the gospel or anything. We haven't found a chance to do that. But I think what we are really channeling our efforts to is to really be someone that they can say, oh yeah, Cheng and Elaine, they love us as neighbors. Like they really walk the talk. So I think that's something that's very important for Elaine and I, that it's not all the time, but I think it's something we wanted to challenge ourselves in, that before we open our mouths to share the gospel, they can already see the gospel communicated through our actions also. And I mean, something that we took away from that season was, if we go door to door and we as strangers and we just like share the gospel, invite the church and all that, right? Actually, it's quite easy for people to dislike strangers or dismiss strangers. But if you just go door to door to like just befriend, like with no agenda, just to make friends or just to be a good neighbor, I don't think many Singaporeans turn away from that, unless they like isolation or they like to be alone. I mean, so usually, I think something we found out is that no one usually dislikes, no one usually dislikes their friends. So if you're a friend, then it can lead to, in the future, instances where you share the gospel. In fact, actually between the two families, we have already been very open about talking about our faiths, our religion, because they are a mixed faith family. I wouldn't say what particularly, but they're an interesting mixed faith family. And it allows us to just like ask what their beliefs are without so much sharing ours yet, but just showing that we want to know them. And then after a while, they will ask us also. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Elaine and Cheng. And what you just shared is so spot on with our Cultivate, Plant and Reap outreach strategy as well. I'm so encouraged that you are cultivating friendships in order to maybe perhaps in the near future to be able to, in fact right now, to be able to share your faith openly with them. So, well, that's it, folks. This wraps up our first podcast. And we hope you have a great time going out there connecting during Chinese New Year, and hopefully host someone at your home and be a blessing to them. God bless.